Hello, welcome back to part 4, part 2 of the Ruth and Boaz. Now, what we're going to talk about is we're picking up where we left off. Ruth is in the field. What does Ruth being in the field look like? This looks like, in today's society, a woman that figures out she has multiple talents in multiple areas and multiple arenas, and she sets up business, systems, streams of income. Maybe she's not making money in these streams of income, but she has structured it, planned it out, she's researched it, she's done the work. She's seeking out and gleaning on the edges of each and every field it is that she's seeking to put her hands into. She's building out certain things. She's creating the systems for certain things. She's developing these certain things in this time frame. Because she out here, she ain't trying to sit up there and wait for no man. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure out how to do it myself. I know the skills, I know the abilities, I know the techniques, I know because everything operates the same way. It's just that they call it something different in each different field. Let me do this. I'm passionate about fashion design. I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about acting. I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about food service. I'm passionate about that. These are my multiple different streams of income. These are the fields in which I'm working in. Let me find out what I can do about that. Let me put myself out there. Let me take this opportunity. Let me teach this. Let me coach this. Let me do this. Let me do that. But the one thing I'm not going to do is sit still and wait for anybody. Ruth in the field. Let me set up my payment processes. Let me set up these types of things. Let me research how to get the target market so that I'm in the right area and arena when I start to try to sell this. Let me figure out how I'm going to develop this systematic process. Am I going to create a this? Am I going to create a that? What are both of these things that I'm going to create in order for this thing to work and to operate smoothly out in the field? Out in the field. So, while she out in the field, she catches the eye of Boaz. If you read the scripture, it states that he was showed. It's spelled like Shewed, something like that. It's not show. But to me, that inclines that he was shown her before. Meaning, just as Joseph was put to sleep and shown what was going to happen with Jesus, I believe Boaz was shown Ruth. A lot of the cases with these God-ordained spouses, and I've seen it before, I've seen it repetitively, everyone has said it, and I've gotten 100 confirmations that these spouses that are ordained to walk with these particular wives, your ordained spouse that's destined to walk with you, shown. God already showed them you. They've known for a while who you are. I can say, if I wanted to speak on this, I could tell you just about how long I feel like my God-ordained spouse has known who I am. Hasn't been as long as I've known who he was, but it's been pretty significant amount of time. The catch-22 to that is, just as I stated before, there's spiritual husbands, spiritual wives, spiritual things in relation to the Moabite lifestyle, so on and so forth, that there are things that are in alignment in the background that are out of order in that person's life. in your life that had to come clear, and the spirit spouse, spirit husband, spirit wife, counterfeit, had to be separated so that they could see you. Some of them saw you and the counterfeit moved in because, let's just face it, somebody that's already in front of you looks way more enticing than somebody that you have no access to. It's the truth. It's the fact of the matter. It's the truth. We don't want to admit it. It's honest. This is what the enemy does. If you don't have access to the one that the Lord is showing you, he will always dangle a carrot in front of you. That is like, this person's here. They're right in front of you. This person is giving you the attention. They may not even be in front of you, but if they're giving you the attention you feel like you're lacking, you feel fine. You will waste your time all day with this person, and they have nothing to do with where God's trying to take you, and they're actually wasting your time. Getting back to Boaz. God, and this is where I'm bringing in part 2. God will show this particular person who you are. Okay? God will lead them to gaining understanding of what and who you are. Okay? So he will give them vision to see you, meaning he may show them in dreams who you are. He may show them through your activities, meaning Dr. G released a word 6 months ago, I believe, talking about they've already seen you. And the way she showed it, it was in 3 different ways. She said that the person's been watching you on your social media. The person is going to show themselves with you, and they are going, some of them are in relationship with other people, and they've been watching you still, and the person that they were with knew they were watching you. And some people's cases that they worked with you, meaning they were at your job and they've been watching you there, observing you from a distance. Boaz is watching. Now, I'm going to state this. I already just stated the counterfeit. Now, there are people in this season and this time, because this is a time of marriage, that are going to try to love bomb you, and even have probably tried to do this to your God ordained spouse. I was listening to Righteous Wives the other week, and she was making the point of saying that some of your spouses have been delayed because a counterfeit snuck in between and is sitting in that space. I'm going to use another Buffy episode as a reference. What happened was, the character has an arch nemesis. This is Buffy's anti. Ironically, her name was Faith. And she was so desperately jealous of the fact that she had the friends, that she had the watcher, who was the father figure, that she had the mom, that she had the boyfriend that really truly loved her, whether she was still with the same guy or not. Yeah. But she's like, you got the life, I do not. So what she did was she did a transfer. Transfer? What's a transfer? I was listening to Stephanie P a few weeks ago, and she released a word called they're trying to do a spiritual transfer. In this episode, the girl literally used a small green orb that when she grabbed Buffy's hand, that it caused their spirits to switch. These people are actually trying to draw from the God ordained spouse to put your essence on them so that you will look like to the one that is meant to be with you, like you're the wrong one. Like there's something dirty, something off spiritually with you, but they take upon your spiritual spirit. But I'm gonna tell you something, and Stephanie P said this, Megan Michelle said this. When somebody tries to switch spiritual essence, it won't fit. It's like an obese person trying to put on a skinny suit. It's not going to look right. It's not going to fit right. It's not going to feel right. And then on top of that, the spirit that isn't in it, if you've ever seen the movie Men in Black Part 1, there was the farmer who passed away, and the alien tried to take over his body. But when the alien tried to take over his body, he looked nastily disjointed and gross because what was in him did not fit. The demon that tries to take over that person's body don't fit, so you can instantaneously see that's not the spirit that's supposed to be operating within that person. So what happens is it's a no. It's not gonna work. Sorry, not gonna work. So you can see that, and your God ordained spouse can see that too. So I said that to say this. Some people are targeting you in this season either to bring a false opportunity, a false spouse. That's why I always pray that you ask the Lord during this season that he show you who your God ordained spouse is, who the Lord is showing and sending you, because that way you cannot be deterred. God will show you the right person. And you can ask God for multiple confirmations. Is this the person? Is this the person? Is this the person? Is this the person? And he will show you, and he will let you know, yes or no, if that is the right person for you. What the enemy will do is they either send you a counterfeit that is an identical duplicate of what that person is, or the enemy will send you somebody characteristically like this particular person. Or he'll just simply send you somebody that you've already dated that has the exact same characteristics as this person, but it's going to keep you directly where you are. Okay? Now, Boaz. We still trying to get Boaz to Ruth, okay? Boaz sees Ruth. Boaz says who's she. Boaz finally interacts with Ruth. What does this look like in reality? This looks like God orchestrating a divine appointment. You run into each other at a coffee shop. You run into each other while you're out on a jog. You run into each other, you just happen to be walking and they're in a car driving and they stop you while you're walking or driving. They ask you, do you need a ride? Anything. During the season, the Lord is saying that God is going to orchestrate situations and scenarios where God's going to allow people to start to run into one another. I saw it in somebody's video last year. They said that God was going to orchestrate a specific connection with you and your spouse, that it would be like they weren't even supposed to be where they were. And this actually happened Tiffany Montgomery had a person on for interview where the woman said the day that she met her God ordained spouse, she was in a place that she was supposed to be there. And she knew God sent her there at that particular point in time. But the guy, he didn't work there no more. He wasn't coming back there no more. It was by some sheer coincidence he came in that day. And he wasn't planning on never coming back. Ain't been back there since that day. Why? Because he was supposed to meet her that day. And that was all he was supposed to do. Period. Boaz. He met Ruth and they came into connection. Now, what will happen is people are going to seek you out. You now have the anointing for high demand. People want you. People are seeking you out. And this is a season in which the Lord will send your God-ordained spouse, because your God-ordained spouse has to cover you from the counterfeits, from the opportunities, from the people that are seeking to use you and or prevent you from reaching what God is trying to seek to get you to reach in this season. Oh my God, I think I'm going to have to stop this one. I'm going to give it just a little bit more time because I should be at about 10 gigs right by now. So I got another 6 gigs. So I'm going to see if I can stomp this out and prayerfully still have enough room to upload everybody. Pray for me, Jesus. So now Boaz has met Ruth and they go to have dinner. He invites her. This is like, you came to the job. You weren't supposed to be there. You weren't supposed to be working, so on and so forth. I remember one particular day, I was in a tight constraint financially. And what I was doing, I was at Target. Didn't nobody notice. I just happened to start helping people with their carts. I wasn't really looking for anything, but the fact that I spent the day helping these people with their carts, putting the carts in order, because the employees that worked at the Target were not doing this. I put the carts together all day long. At the end of that day, I ended up with $22 in hand. Sometimes the Lord will have you in a scenario where he'll put you at the edge of a field where somebody will notice you. That's what a modern day Ruth would do. She don't even work at the company, but she'll come there and greet people all day long. She don't even work the job. But then that will put the eye of Boaz on her. And he'll call her back for a business luncheon. I'm having a business luncheon with everybody. Come. I own the company, so come on. And you're like, wait, what? I was just standing here greeting people. At first I thought I was in trouble. What you mean? It's like, come, I want you to have lunch with us. Step 1. You have lunch. Enjoy yourself. He's giving you the full smorgasbord to eat whatever it is that you want to eat. Enjoy yourself. Talk. He's asking you questions. He's inquiring about the business brunch. All this type of stuff. He walks you out. All of this. This is what it looks like in modern day for Ruth. She's invited to the brunch. She's given access to him. She goes back home and says, I just was lining up the carts. I just was greeting people at the door. I didn't even work at the job. He saw me and he said, hey, come to lunch. It's just like, oh, that's the kingdom redeemer. Oh, That's the contractual person that you need in order to make sure that this contract goes through, because he's going to be the one that's going to need to sign off the transfer. He's the one that's going to have to sign off the transfer. Get closer to him. Now, with that being said, you come in and everybody is drawn to you. It's like a clarion call went out, and everybody sees that you're in your route to taking the position in which you're supposed to take. Everybody and their mama won't come to you now. This is when you get starstruck. In today's society, that would be like a brand new artist coming into the music industry, and every producer, every person that has power coming to you, beck and call right now. And you're like, wait, what? They are seeking you out. It's like they got a beacon on you. Who's she? Who that? Who? But Boaz got you covered. Okay? Now, with that being said, there's always going to be somebody. And this is where you kind of slip over into the Esther phase. There's always going to be somebody that's going to try to get into and interfere. This is when you find your Haman that's observing and going to try to see if he can create a situation that is going to expose you or hurt something in relation to something you can do, an accusation. This is where that accusation would take place, because he sees that you're getting too close to the manifestation of something happening here. So they try to bait you into a trap. Now, Ruth didn't particularly have to be baited into a trap, because Ruth got the blessing that she was able to go straight in. But what Boaz had to do was circumvent what would have been the trap. The trap was actually for her to actually end up being connected to the other guy that was the kingdom redeemer, the closer relative. But how, let's rewind, how does Ruth end up at the kingdom redeemer, or the switch of contracts? I'm going to tell you how, Ruth. In today's modern times, this is what it would look like for Ruth to end up in that type of situation. Ruth would thereby end up how do I say this? Ruth would thereby end up, she goes back to her Naomi. Naomi says, she finds out it's a Christmas party. It's a major event that's about to happen. Maybe he mentioned during the banquet, brunch, luncheon, that there was going to be some type of party coming up. Maybe it was plastered all over the building. Naomi says, go to the party. Put on your best dress. Put on your best makeup, perfume, all of this. And you go. What does that look like? That would be like a few years ago when I used to go to the business networking events, and they would have social nights. And you're asked to go to the social outing and gathering. This happened to me a few matter of factly, I actually met my godmother's spouse's counterfeit at this event. I had somebody really wanted to go out with me. I ended up going to this event with them because I needed a ride. So I was like, hey, come on. And I was hoping that they would start mingling and find somebody they were interested in and so on and so forth. And um, while I was there, this dude walks in and I'm like, ooh, he cute. He just so happens he sits across from where I happen to be sitting at the time. I just slid seats over by one and ended up sitting right next to him. I'm bold like that. Ended up sitting right next to him. So we ended up sitting there having a conversation. He was sweet. He was kind. He was nice. He was 27. He was nice. I mentioned he was cute. And he wasn't even wet behind the ears. He was into all of this type of stuff. And I was like, oh, you are so nice. We never spoke again. But the Lord showed me after that who my God ordained spouse was. Thank God for Jolene Whitaker. But yeah, this is you going to the office Christmas party. This is you going to the social gathering that the company has. This is you going to that social networking event that they have. And this is you watching until he gets alone by himself after he's had a few drinks in him. He's over in this quiet little space. Wait for him to get to that quiet little space where ain't nobody at. Off to himself. And you go and sit down and talk to him. He's a little loosened up now because he's had a couple of drinks. And you go and you sit down next to him and start talking. Y'all start talking. He enjoys having conversation with you because he already is fond of you anyway. And you introduce your proposition. I have this contract. This needs to be transferred over. Can you do that for me? He says, I wish I could transfer that contract for you, but I cannot transfer the contract because I am not the one that is in charge of the contract transfer. There is one person above me that I have to go through in order to get that contract transferred. This is what it looks like normally. But I have a connection to that person. I don't have the key to that. They do. But I can talk to that person for you because I've got leeway with this person. Give me the contract. I'll take the contract to them and I'll get back with you. You go back home. Your Naomi says, well, what happened? He said he would take care of it. Really? Don't worry about it. The contract's going to get taken care of. He knows exactly what to do at this point. Sit and wait. He goes in and has a business meeting, shoots the breeze with the guy that is actually the one that's supposed to transfer the contract. He takes a look at the contract and says, this contract is great, but I can't take on this contract because if I take on this contract, that's going to mess up the contract that is a contractual split between this other person. Perfect example. I'm going to explain something. I was looking at a video a few years ago. It wasn't even a few years ago. It was 3 weeks ago. This young woman, she was in a company. She had the opportunity to be signed under this label. But at the time, another major label artist came in and they actually thought that the one that came in wasn't really quite worthy of all of the hoopla that they were talking about. And they said, I want to keep this energy on this person, not that person. So I'm going to hold this person's contract and I'm going to work on this person because I don't think that person's going to fly. That's exactly what this situation is like. The contract is being looked at as It's not really worth my time nor energy for me to transfer my weight, my energy, my time, nor my space to put into this contract. If you want it, take it. That's exactly what Boaz did. I'll take that contract. I'll take the responsibility of the contract. I will sign off on it. I will sign for this particular person, and I will take all the responsibility as to what happens to this person in relation to this contract. Dude, two dudes shake hands. We have come to an agreement. Great. Take it. He calls you back and says, I got it. We good. But in the midst of coming into the idea for this contract, dude says, I like you. How about I just marry you? And that aligns both contracts. That means I'm aligned with your contract, and the business deal is still going to get taken care of. Win win. I'm going to sign off on you. I'm going to sign off to take care of your business. I'm going to sign off to take care of you financially. I'm going to sign off to take care of you in everything in this business-wise scenario. I become your financial managerial advisor, protecting you in this thing. And on the flip side, I like you, so I'm going to marry you anyway. Because I'm going to marry you, and I get the benefit on the opposite side that I am married to you, and I also have a element of input as your spouse. Percentage of your deal, managerial advisement, and protection. And oh, by the way, because I'm married to you, you inherit half of everything that I own. And bruh is got money. And you get married, have kids, and they live happily ever after. And that is the moral of this concept. So, because I'm running out of time, that is the end of that. You come into the fullness of your identity, recognize the fullness of who you were the whole time, and you get to walk in it. Restoration and inheritance is a blessing. Until next time, from Taj McCarran for the ministry.